happening? This is Joshua Tyson and you're watching Sporting Icons.
So the reason I'm doing this video is for a couple of reasons. Number one, hopefully when I speak about the Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, things that they actually have in common, you guys will leave this video with at least one of these points that you didn't know beforehand. And of course, the other one is doing something completely opposite to what a lot of people do, where people will butt heads and clash and talk about, well, this guy's done this one more than that one, and as a way to try and win points as to who is legitimately the number one in the heavyweight division. And they'll debate this one backwards and forwards and argue and sometimes get quite nasty, which is kind of weird and opposite to Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, as these two actually get on quite well. They talk to each other quite a bit, they call each other up, ask how the families are, all that kind of thing. So the way the fans react is complete opposite as to how them two really are, which is kind of weird, isn't it? But people will say things like, well, Tyson Fury, he's won every belt that the heavyweight division has to offer. Anthony Joshua has not. And it's true, he hasn't. He hasn't won the Ring Magazine or the WBC. People will say, well, Anthony Joshua, he won all of the heavyweight world titles one at a time and has defended them numerous times. Tyson Fury has yet to defend a world heavyweight title. Again, all of these points are true, and we can go around the merry-go-round until we're dizzy and sick, but ultimately the only way to find out, put them both in the ring. So we're going to talk about the things that these guys actually have in common, which as I said, hopefully you guys will leave this video with at least one thing that you didn't know, outside of me being a bit of a prat. But anyway, we're going to start off with number one. Both of these guys have been trained as amateurs and pro by Rob McCracken. Both of these guys were, of course, under the GB setup under Rob McCracken at different times, of course, but both of them trained as amateurs by Rob McCracken. Rob McCracken is currently Anthony Joshua's trainer. In fact, he joined Anthony Joshua's professional team about 3 or 4 fights into Anthony Joshua's professional career. Tony Sims was, of course, the head coach for Anthony Joshua because Rob McCracken was busy with the GB setup. Tyson Fury turned pro with Rob McCracken in his corner. So that's something that these guys have in common, both trained by Rob McCracken. Number two, both of these guys, of course, are British, but both of them also identify as foreign lineage as well. Both these guys have foreign lineage, such as Anthony Joshua with Nigeria, Tyson Fury with Irish. Well, Irish traveller to be more precise. In fact, a lot of people didn't know that Tyson Fury, he actually tried to fight for and represent Ireland in the Olympic Games, but they didn't deem his lineage as strong enough to represent Ireland. But either way, he does identify as being British Irish, much like Joshua identifies being with British Nigerian. So both of these guys have that in common as well. Number three, both of these guys are 2-time heavyweight champions of the world. And I know that's a bit of a debatable statement right there. But first of all, Anthony Joshua, he lost to Andy Ruiz Jr., then became a 2-time when he beat him in the rematch. Tyson Fury, of course, he defeated Vladimir Klitschko. He gets stripped of the IBF, has to vacate the rest of the belts, takes a 2.5-3 year hiatus, comes back and defeats Deontay Wilder to pick up the only belt that he's never won before. So he's actually a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. It's debatable because a lot of people say, well, when Fury defeated Klitschko, he became lineal and he never actually lost his lineal. So therefore, when he won the WBC, he was just adding it already to the list of his accomplishments. So technically he's a 1-time heavyweight champion of the world. But the records will show he's a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. And of course, he's held the Ring Magazine twice within that too. So both of these guys are 2-time heavyweight champions of the world. Point number four, both guys have defeated every man that they've ever faced in the professional game. Anthony Joshua, as we said before, lost to Andy Ruiz Jr., comprehensively beat him in the rematch. Tyson Fury also has a blemish on his resume with a draw. It should be a win, but we know that he defeated Deontay Wilder but got robbed to a draw. But he comprehensively destroyed him in the rematch. So both of these guys have defeated every man that they have ever faced. Both of these guys promote anti-racism. Joshua, of course, promotes black equal rights. Tyson Fury promotes traveller equal rights. So both of these guys do actually promote anti-racism. Klitschko and Kevin Johnson. So Vladimir Klitschko and Kevin Johnson are both common opponents for Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury beat both of these guys by a wide points margin. Anthony Joshua defeated both of these guys by knockout. So they both actually have 2 common opponents. Both of these guys have appeared on a Carl Froch undercard. Anthony Joshua, he took on Matt Legg, and that was on the Carl Froch vs George Groves 2 fight at Wembley Stadium. Tyson Fury took on a foreign guy called Goniowski. That was actually Tyson Fury's pro debut with Rob McCracken in his corner on the Carl Froch vs John Pascal undercard in Nottingham. So both these guys have appeared on a Carl Froch undercard. And last and certainly not least, both of these guys have held the British and the Commonwealth titles at the same time. Not both of these guys at the same time, but they both held both those belts at the same time. But I don't know whether or not Fury's won the European. I don't think Joshua's won the European, has he? I don't think that Joshua won the European. Either way, both have won the British and the Commonwealth. So that's 8 points that these guys have in common. Hopefully at least one of these points you guys didn't know, and now you do. And I'm sure you guys will fill me in on a whole lot more in the comment section below. Catch you all on the next video. Subscribe.